Hail to the king, baby. Hadouken!
I've got news for you. You are mine now. You belong to me.
Tiger uppercut!
You've got to take big chances in order for potential for a big positive outcome.
Hello, welcome back to A Boring Revolution, your number one news source for everything in regards to the Boring Company. I hope you're all well. So, we're coming to you with yet another update on the Resorts World project at the Las Vegas Convention Center. And I'm very pleased to say that progress has been very good, very solid. In terms of what I'm looking at, it's very much the bread and butter of what I did when I was managing projects in the UK. So certainly when I'm looking at this, I'm seeing a lot of very, very good things, and progress seems about in line where I expected it to be. And hopefully we should see Prufrock 2 on site at some point in the next 2 to 3, maybe 4 weeks, ready to bore that kind of final part of the circle. If you're not familiar with this project, please watch a couple of my other updates and it will kind of explain the layout and where the various stations are. Okay, so as always, thank you to everyone that has provided me with pictures, photographs, information in regards to this project. It's very, very helpful to me and it helps me understand things. So this is a great photograph. This photograph is probably let's say 8 to 10 days old now, but maybe a bit more than that actually, maybe 12 days. But it gives you an indication of kind of what was happening and what's happened since. So as you can see, all these timber boards here, this formwork, this has all been set out. You can see the props, various props, maybe there's about 50 of them all around the outside of this very formwork here, ensuring that it does not collapse under the weight of the concrete that's going to be poured behind it. All this has gone in extremely fast, which was good to see. And this is ready for a large concrete pour. Now what that is doing is forming a ring beam, or what some people are telling me is called a grade beam, around the perimeter of this shaft. That's important because it provides some stability to the piles and provides a level, solid surface on which you can then build either a slab or some kind of roof structure or whatever they intend to put on top of this shaft. I don't actually know what that is because I don't have access to the plans, but I'm pretty confident we'll find out in the next sort of 2 months or so what they intend to build on top of this here. Hopefully it's a bit more than just a concrete slab, but you know, that is the cheapest option. Anyway, I digress. So what have we got here? Bottom left of the screen, we have our rebar, considerable rebar cage. This it's certainly quite a hefty piece of construction, so they definitely they're not considering, but they're definitely intending to place quite a sizable structure on top of this ring beam, so hence why they have inserted so much rebar in that area there. We have our formwork, we've got some soldier piles here. I'm not entirely sure if they intend to use these on a future project, or maybe they intend to use these as cover above the actual shaft in the long term, but it might be that they're just storing them here and they don't intend to use them. I don't see what they would use them for at this point, but again, I don't have access to the plans, so I can't really tell you what is going on here. It looks like excess piles that they might use on another project at a later date. Also, we have our bagel shop, which looks ever so tasty, and constantly looking at it makes me want to go there more and more, which I probably will do eventually. On multiple occasions I might spend a lot of time in there. So yeah, so progress looked pretty good at this point. What then happened? Well, as you can see, they knocked that formwork off. Looks a pretty tidy job, really. You don't see too many gaps in between the boards, which is always a good sign when you pour a large concrete ring beam such as this. You can see this kind of L shape here, that indicates to me that that potentially could be some kind of mounting area for some kind of beam, but it's hard to say. It is hard to say why they would introduce that kind of notch there. But we will find out in due course. As you can see, so they've knocked the formwork off, and the excavators have basically stayed where they were. If you're wondering where this is in relation to the Las Vegas Convention Center, if you've ever visited, they have this very, very neat kind of exhibit of a tunnel ring with the various segments, and it's opposite the kind of the new part of the convention center, the West Hall, and it's just over there. So just about how would we say, like about 150 feet away from that particular exhibit. Okay, so what happened after that? Well, as you can see, this excavation has been massively extended by this long reach excavator here, and you've got another couple of excavators down in the actual shaft itself. Worth noting the kind of water ingress here at the bottom of these piles. I think I might have originally said these were secant piles, and that's what I believed. Just looking at them now, they look around about the same size as one another. Just looking at that, so it might be from a definition perspective they are tangent piles, but if I have used secant piles in a previous video, it's almost the same really. The only difference is that every pile is reinforced, and the kind of overlap between piles is fairly minimal with tangent piles, whereas with secant piles the overlap can be as much as 9 to 10 inches theoretically, more than that even, depending on how big the piles are. But I digress. As you can see, into the walls of our grade beam / ring beam are these steel plates. Again, together with this notch here, and the fact that we have lots and lots of these mounting plates built into the reinforcement of this structure, I'm guessing that they're going to build some kind of steel beam cover over this particular shaft in the long term once they've finished tunneling. That's theory. I don't have access to the plans. I wish I really did. If you're wondering what this board is here, that's just a cover to stop the ingress of kind of spoil and excavation materials into the tunnel that intersects here. What else have we got on here? Yeah, so tangent piles, there we go. Okay, so that's looking very, very good. This picture's only about 2 days old, if that. You can just see, I don't know if you can see too well, you might be looking on your phone, or maybe on your iPad, if you can just see the top of the soldier piles that are embedded in our tangent piles here. Rather than actually using rebar, like in the UK, you would not see this in the UK. Very, very rare. 99 times, well, let's say 97 times out of 100, they would use actual rebar like this here. Anyway, I digress. So let's try and keep this video as short as possible. Here's some pictures from our favourite contributor, who I am forever grateful for. You can see all our props in here. As you can see, all our props are in this corner of the excavation, which is just here. So that gives you enough room to then drop your TBM in this area here, which is perfect. Excavation looks clean. From a construction perspective, I'm slightly perplexed as to why we've got this dog leg here. Really not sure. It's an interesting shape, and I don't know why. I'm wondering if there's something over here that they're trying to avoid, but I just don't know. I can't tell you. So, what is going to happen from this point onwards? So, we're going to start to see the construction of Prufrock in this area behind the shaft. Initially, it'll just be the front end of the machine. Yeah, so the cutter head, and then all the mechanical elements that are in the front of the machine, the shield, screw conveyor, that kind of thing. Once they've kind of flattened out this, I don't think they'll pour a slab. I think they'll pour a slab afterwards, but I could be wrong. Maybe they'll pour a slab, then launch the machine. It's hard to say. I don't think they will. I don't think they'll do that because that eats into their time. So it's unnecessary. So what I think they'll do is they'll launch the machine. They'll drop it in the machine, launch it. Then they'll start building the back end of the machine. The top here, including the screw conveyor, including the conveyor belt system, and the back end of the machine. And then you'll have your conveyor belt system coming up here, possibly just in front of this prop. Then they'll extend that, drop that into the shaft, and then the machine will carry on its way. And hopefully, this should be a fairly quick bore for Prufrock because it is a very straight line. There's no problems here. There's no excuses for the boring company. They should be doing very, very close to 50 meters per day with this one once they get started. The first 4, 5, 6 days, maybe the first week, you anticipate it's going to be a little bit slow as they kind of refine the processes and kind of configure the machine and that sort of thing. Okay, so what is happening actually as of yesterday? So this is the kind of newest photograph that I have access to. So they've opened up this here. I anticipate they will crop this as well. So I anticipate that, as you can see the joint here for this ring beam. I anticipate that they will remove that and at some point. I'm thinking they will pour a base to this as well. Actually, I'm changing my mind, but progress is excellent. It's looking good. We should see Prufrock actually boring at some point in the next 3 to 4 weeks. I anticipate, based on what I'm seeing. I think I was a bit ambitious in my previous video, but I'm saying 4 weeks from this point onwards, we should hopefully see them get going, and then it should be fairly quick. Just thinking off the top of my head, it's just under 500 meters to get to Resorts World, which is this building here. So if they're doing 50 meters per day, that's essentially 10 days. Let's say they lose a few days, so really they should be doing this once they get that machine going. They should be doing it in under 16 days, really, hopefully. The key is getting the machine going, because as they start up the machine, they then might encounter some issues with it, and then they might have to stop for a couple of days. So let's just say 18 days is a good idea of how long this should take. It's better when you have a longer tunnel, because the time you lose at the beginning configuring the machine eats into the kind of average for that particular tunnel. So it might end up being 40 meters or 35 meters per day, but in reality the machine is operating closer to 50 meters. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed that update. I hope you learned something. I hope those pictures are nice and clear for you. I didn't include a map on this one, which I probably should have done. Just to let you know that excavation is 30 feet down. You can see at the bottom of this excavation there is a lot of groundwater. Groundwater is starting to seep in. I've noticed they've got a sump pump in there. They are removing a lot of that groundwater. This is an issue that you encounter in Las Vegas, is that there's quite a high water table, and ultimately that means that the spoil comes out very wet and sloppy, and that spoil cannot be used to make bricks, unfortunately. Unless you put it in the desert and you let it dry out, and then you could then use it, but that's a story for another day. Okay, thanks for joining. Hope you enjoyed that. Please, as always, like the video, and if you've not already done so, subscribe. Hit that bell icon, because trust me, these videos are coming fast and furious, and you're gonna want to be notified as soon as I post a video. Also, comment on the video. Tell me what you ate for lunch. Tell me what you think of the excavation. Tell me when you think the TBM is going to get launched. Tell me where you think the next project will be for the Boring Company. Anything you want, just put it in the comments. As long as it's, you know, clean, funny, and, you know, not offensive to certain groups of people, then that's absolutely fine for me. You know what I mean? You know what I mean when I say that. Okay, Twitter. Get on there, follow me. Patreon, consider supporting me for $2. Discord, join the discussion. A lot of great photographs on Discord at the moment. That is where I'm getting my information. People are reaching out to me, and that is fantastic. If you have information about the Boring Company in Texas, in Florida, in Nevada, in California, wherever you are, come on Discord, post your pictures, post your theories. I'm all ears for theories, love theories. It's a great discussion point. Okay. And as always, thank you to all my Patreons. Just recently got a payout yesterday, and really helpful, guys. It helps me pay for Ecamm Live and various other subscriptions, and obviously upgrading this computer setup. Thank you very, very much for your continued support. And as always, remember, guys, don't be boring. See you on the next video. Really hope you enjoyed that. I really hope you learned something, and I will be back with more awesome content coming soon. Take care. Goodbye.
Hail to the king, baby.
お前はもう死んでいる。何？